show prepared for you guys. We have a lot of great news, some great content from Dustin. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Dustin, the Unholy Apostle. Dustin, take it away, baby.
We're doing this again, really?
What?
I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know.
What's wrong?
Well, I'll tell you what's fucking wrong. For starters, do you have a fucking stalker?
Not currently, no. Not that I know of.
So what do you mean what's wrong? I mean, what how would you feel if you had a fucking stalker, dude?
I guess I'd be a bit worried.
So I mean, I got to deal with this shit. Cody the Panda. It's typical fucked up Friday, you know, as usual. So it's been one of those fucking days. I got Cody the fucking Panda to worry about. I got Kenny Baker all fucking hot and bothered on YouTube. You know, I've got to deal with a bunch of shit from a bunch of assholes.
What's the Kenny Baker situation?
I don't know. He thinks that the nation's capital is so beautiful and so grand. He believes, you know, that his shit smells like roses. You know, and it's just, he pissed me off. Like, and YouTube hides his comments. Then they hide my comments because I reply in smart ass fashion. And then I've got these other dickheads on Facebook, you know?
Oh, God damn, dude. You got everybody coming at you, don't you?
Yeah, these dickheads, they're like, okay, liberal. I don't know if you've seen those on the Facebook, but
yeah, I think I seen a couple of them, but I didn't. What's with the guy calling you liberal? I must have missed that one.
he's like, you're an idiot or something, but he said you're like me, not like you are. Like,
right.
So I corrected. I was like, it's your idiot. And then it's like, you get the typical replies. You're in your mama's basement. Well, the last time I fucking checked, the basement didn't have a window. You know, so strike two for the fucking geniuses on Facebook.
You're in an above ground basement.
And above, yeah, I'm in an attic, aka an above ground basement.
That's great.
Like, I don't know. So it's been one of those weeks, man. It's just fucking stupid fucking people. Stupid people today. Fucking drivers don't know how to drive. You know, I go
back on that again.
Yeah, 4 routes to get to my fucking job, dude. 4 different routes. And guess what? All fucking 4 of them backed up. I had to go to an entire different fucking town to do something that wasn't in this town.
What has been going on? Because traffic was backed up real bad on Tuesday too. It was backed up through downtown Hagerstown, and 70 was all backed up. Must be people wrecking or something.
It's the season of fucking idiots.
You think
That's all I can say.
You think it's the elderly people with the Vanta Black goggles on?
It's them, or I mean, I wouldn't want to say that they're foreigners, but they look foreign.
Hey, watch it. This is a family show. Hold on.
Or older people, but there's a good deal of older people. That is probably 80% of it. I'd say the other 10% of that is just people making an accident when they're driving, not paying attention, which that happens to everybody. You're just, you know, you're sitting at a red light a little too long. But I'm okay with that shit. And then the other 10% is just fucking morons that shouldn't have their driver's license. But
I think it's people texting and driving.
Not so much. I don't think texting and driving, like, I don't know. I think it gets a bad rap.
Because you do it?
Well, yeah, that's why. Exactly why. I'm not going to sit here and say that something I do is wrong, you know? But texting and driving, I mean, if you're a teenager, you shouldn't have a phone in the vehicle with you at all. I mean, other than for emergency purposes.
Right.
But you know, mine, I got one of those things, dude. I got one of those magnet things that I just stick it on. But I still sit there, and sometimes you got to pick it up, you know?
Yeah, you got to.
Because it's just, sometimes you need 2 thumb action. That one thumb's just not cutting it.
Yeah.
So but majority old people though, dude. There was this old dude the other day. I swear to God, I followed him around the store, and we're buying shit. We had to get some light groceries, nothing crazy. In and out about half an hour. So this motherfucker in the store is like cutting me off every aisle with his fucking cart. We
Really?
go out, yeah. We go out, get in the car, get the kid strapped in, whatever. Go to take off, coming around the parking lot. I go to pull out. Who's there?
Tim.
His name's probably like Ronald or something. Ronald or fucking Jesse, or what's another old name? You know, if he's
Yeah,
Tim, he doesn't go by Tim. He goes by Timothy. So have you
and
ever noticed when you're older, like when you're younger, you get the full name, like Timothy, little Timothy. And then
right.
you get like Timmy, Tim when you're like teenagers until you're like 50 maybe. And then like after 50, you're back to Timothy.
Yeah, what's another old person's name? Like Joe?
Well, yeah, of course, Joe. Joe, maybe even
Chuck?
Randall. Randall.
Yeah,
What do you think of Randall? You don't hear many Randalls out there anymore.
Randall.
But you call him Randy. There's some Randys out there, Dandy Randys. But Randall, to call someone Randall, hey Randall, or Ralph.
Yeah, you don't hear Ralph's anymore.
Hey, when's the last time you've talked to a Ralph?
Isn't that some wild shit, man? When we were going to school, everybody was like Justin or Bradley or Josh. Now you never hear girls calling their sons that anymore, or people naming their sons that shit.
Yeah, now it's something like Xavion or
Brantley.
Dramorion or yeah, Brantley or Brent Brentley or like some fucking weird like they'll spell it one way and then they'll tell you like they'll correct you. It's like, well, I just fucking pronounced it how it was spelled. Like Brentley, like they spell it with an E, Brantley. And
Right.
it's like it's not Brentley, it's Brantley. And it's like, why didn't you use a fucking A then? Did you forget how the alphabet and sounds work, like phonetics? Do you need what was that thing
Phonics.
for, yeah, hooked on phonics for the kids? Do you need hooked
Yeah.
on phonics? It's the boy moms that they're responsible for it.
Oh my God. Fuck the boy moms.
It's not Brantley, you dummy. It's Brantley. We have soccer practice, then baseball practice, and football practice. And don't forget about basketball, all in the same day. Bitch, those sports don't even coincide. You don't even know. You just like to fucking hear about balls.
And it's and you try to be nice and cordial and go to ask them how's Brantley how's Brantley, you know what I mean, then you feel like a dick because she named her son something fucking weird.
I don't feel like a dick. I'll just, if you like, when I get corrected like that, I'll keep saying it fucked up.
You'll just keep stirring that pot, won't you?
I'll continue until it like gets old to me. And by the time it gets old to me, it's going to be old
It's gonna be
for
old to
years.
everybody. The whole block is gonna be tired of it.
Yeah, I still do it. Like my oldest, whenever they had the Olympics in Pyeongchang,
Pyongyang.
whatever, well, she called it Pyeongchang
Where was it?
in South Korea.
South Korea, that's right. Yeah.
So, and it was the way she said it. So every once in a while, it'll cross my mind, like just that word. So I'll be like, Pyeongchang, like the way she said it. And dude, it's been fucking what? Almost 10 years. Well, it was like 2017, 2018.
And you're just still using that bit,
Still,
just driving it every time.
yeah, I'll beat a horse to death all day.
Speaking about beating things, man, what are you going to do about this panda situation? This Cody stalker fanboy, is he a stan or does he just hate your guts?
I mean, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What would you do? I mean, I need some advice here. What would our fans do? What if anyone has some fucking advice? I'd like to hear it. I mean, dude on YouTube commented safety cone actual, and he said that the police don't they're not within the jurisdiction to take care of pandas. He said to call the SPCA. What the fuck am I gonna do? Animal control come and shoot him with a dart? I mean, what the fuck am I gonna do about it? Should I just feed him some bamboo, or should I get a kendo stick that's made out of bamboo and just whoop his ass with it?
It's gonna be like some Congo shit. They're gonna have like a group of special forces out there looking for this fucking thing.
Uh, I'm at a loss for what I should do with the panda. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's just it's a hard situation, dude. And I mean, since everybody wants to do thoughts and prayers, maybe we could use some thoughts and prayers. That might help. Do you think that'll help?
Maybe.
Do you think thoughts and prayers help?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I could go into the fucking jungle. What do you think?
All I see are just giant blades of grass.
Well, they look like the jungle.
You look like a character in the movie Ants.
And ants.
A Bug's Life.
I just deleted it.
Now you look like Tyson DeGrassi or whatever the fuck his name is.
Neil the asshole Tyson.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of his. Did we talk about him before?
Yes, we have.
He's such a presumptuous prick.
He's a know-it-all.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna get back into that. But
Yeah,
then that doesn't even, I was in space for a second. I took off like Elon and went to the moon, and I was looking at our planet from the blades of grass. But yeah, the panda dude, I don't know. I'm just lost at what to do with the panda. Like, I don't have enough shit to deal with. And now I've got to deal with a fucking panda. You know what I'm saying?
You got to deal with an animal.
I got to deal with this dumbass, Cody the fucking panda, dude. Cody the fucking panda. I've got to deal with him. Look, I can hide behind a fucking panda avatar. I'm so fucking great. My name's Cody the panda. Look at me. Ooh. How special am I being Cody the panda? I don't like Dustin from Ubec podcast. Well, guess what? Suck these nuts. Dude, fuck him. Fuck Cody the panda, little bitch. If I get him one-on-one, you go chew a stalk of fucking bamboo, you prick.
I'm going to beat his ass.
You're going to beat it with what? Your fucking claws that don't do anything? Does he really think he's a fucking panda?
Was that little Nicky that called in that did that? You think that's Adam Sandler, one of his improv 2 voices or whatever?
You think Adam Sandler found us on like Twitter or something?
I don't know. He might have. Maybe.
Wouldn't that be some shit? Adam Sandler's trolling us. He's trolling 2 guys that have like 65, 67 subscribers on YouTube.
Didn't we say something about 28 weeks later? What's the 21 Crazy Nights or whatever that fucking movie he did?
That's 8 Crazy Nights, yeah.
Whatever.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know. I thought we did. Maybe around Christmas time. Oh, we didn't start the show till after Christmas.
We were doing the show in our head at that point. We might have. Adam Sandler's cool.
It might have been another podcast I was featured on.
But if he's fucking with us, fuck him. I'm
going to beat your ass.
Look at this, Cody the panda. You can't cancel me. So you want to beat my ass? Come fucking see me sometime. Show your fucking face. Come on the podcast.
He's going to have some of his PETA buddies come and hunt you down.
Let him bring all those. They're either little fucking Twinkie fucking frail dudes, big fat chicks with fucking green hair, or big fat dudes that look like fat chicks. You know exactly the type of character I'm talking about too, don't you?
No.
Fuck you. You've fucking seen them.
No, I haven't.
Cody the panda, dude.
Come at me, bro.
Come at me. I can pretend to be a fucking panda. You know what you can't pretend to be? Is a fucking gangster. So come get some. Come on the show, dude. Come on the show. Say something. Don't hide behind your little fucking cracked up fucking smartphone and shit.
We should get him on the show. Try to at least.
Do you think he'll come?
I don't know. Hell, I'm not sure.
Do you
Maybe.
talk to him? Have you talked to him? Have you had any interaction with Cody the Panda?
No.
Well, maybe you should reach out. I don't think it would be good if I reached out.
I could. I could try.
Yeah, maybe get him on. I want to see what he has to say for himself. I want
Maybe
to
we'll
see if
try.
he's
Maybe we'll try to get a hold of him on the show next week or maybe this week. Who knows?
maybe. I got to get to the bottom of it, but I'm tired of fucking dwelling on this shit. And we got a lot of news, got a lot of stories to cover. You can see
It's
them right here.
all happening.
It's all happening. It's all happening all around us. Talked to some confidential sources. They wouldn't let me tell you who they are or where they work, but just know that I know important facts that you don't know. But I'm not going to tell you. I'm just going to lead you on, and
I know. Don't you hate it when he does that?
it's what he did on like Wednesday or Tuesday or Wednesday's episode.
Oh, have you been listening?
Yeah, I listened to it last night. These are the upper echelon. They work in like the FBI, the CIA. They're the upper echelon of the world order, the new world order. And they're getting freaked out, and everything that I've said and you guys know to be true is God is real and the devil is real. And we're going to bring it to you, but just not yet.
And he goes to a commercial.
Yeah. And then he's like, we need your support. Go to InfoWarsStore.com. We have the best ingredients, the best of everything. Get yourself some swag, get your some vitamins, some hard dick pills. We've got it all. It's not Viagra, but we got it. Super Vitality Male 360. You'll have a hard on like you're fucking 13 in puberty again.
He always does that bit like, my wife literally asked me to get off of her. You know what I mean? He doesn't say that, but he's like, I was literally going at her so hard. And you guys know how I do. If I'm going at it, I'm going at it hard. She literally asked me to get off of her. It was so intense. That's what male vitality does to you guys. I'm not lying to you either.
He's a little more like refined. So he'll be like, total male vitality 360. It's given me back my libido. I'm just telling you, my wife, she said I'm like a wild animal now. And she just can't get me away from her.
Yeah.
So he's not like, I'm just railing the shit out of her.
Yeah.
You could see that like he's got two hamster wheels. One is saying the fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And that one's going backwards and it's powering the other one to go forward to say it in like a reformed way. Kind of like me when I'm doing my sales. Cause I'm sitting here like, fucking dumbass. I already told you this 6 times. And it's like, yes, sir, this is how you do it. I'm going to tell you again. And you probably have the same fucking thing working retail.
You do them better than I do. I can't. My Alex Jones is not as good as yours.
Well, I was listening to him probably for a full solid, maybe 3 or 4 years before you did too. Because I kept asking you, I'm like, dude, have you listened to it? No, I'm going to. And I'm like, you got to check it out. The New World Order, the Illuminati, dude. And you'd be like, I'm going to check it out.
At first, I thought you were talking about Adam Jones that was playing for the Orioles around that time. I'm like, that motherfucker's into conspiracies and shit. That black guy, Adam Jones.
He should be. That's what I've been deep diving on, dude. We need to get some articles about that, like MK Ultra and shit.
Yeah, I've researched a lot of that MK Ultra stuff, man. It's pretty crazy.
You know what's crazy about it is the fact that those documents, just like, because the director of the CIA ordered the documents, like when the FOIA or whatever it is, the Freedom of Information Act.
Yeah.
Whenever Congress approved that, it was like right before they approved it, he had the CIA destroy all of the documents.
Oh yeah.
So the only thing that we have are some like, Joe Biden left the classified files in his Corvette in his garage. There's like 70,000 pages of files. I think that's all we have that recorded it.
I heard about that.
So for all you conspiracy people that say conspiracies aren't true, because I was talking to a guy when I was handing out some of those buttons yesterday, and he's like, yeah, you think that's true? And I'm like, dude, it's admittedly true. The Gulf of Tonkin is admittedly true. Yep. So, and that's like people like, do you think the vaccine causes heart attacks or, whatever the conspiracy of the day is? It's like, I don't, discredit that it's possible. Maybe not. We don't know. Let's look into it. I think every conspiracy, there's some basis of fact in all conspiracy. But yeah, so
Well,
enough
we
about
got
that.
some, yeah, we got some crazy, maybe we have a little bit of conspiracy news in here, but the first one is a doozy of an article, and this one kind of made me think about us when we were in school. But this one's from The Hill, and the title of this one is, it's loading right now. Federal judge rules Pennsylvania school district must allow after school Satan club. And this was published on May 1st.
I seen that one this week. I seen that. I read that one. It's kind of funny. Like our articles are starting to kind of mesh.
Yeah, yeah. So going a little more into depth, the school district in Pennsylvania must allow students to convene an after-school Satan club, a federal judge ruled on Monday. In a victory for free speech and religious freedom, a federal court has ruled the Saucon Valley School District must allow the after-school Satan club to meet in district facilities. The American Civil Liberties Union announced, the ACLU. This was a Monday filing in the U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania. It's called the Satanic Temple Incorporated. What do you think about this shit, man?
I mean, I'm all for this is the article, correct?
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
It's a victory for free speech. I mean, I don't care. They're
Would
gonna
you let
have they're gonna have an after school unholy brotherhood of the electric church club.
Would you let your daughters join the Satanic? What do they call it? The Satanic Temple Incorporated.
No. Would I let them join Scientologists or Jehovah Witness or the Latter Day Saints? None of those. But I mean, and this is just my opinion. This is me being the more like of the libertarian. I think I'm a little more even libertarian than you are. Like I think like I'm so fucking into libertarianism that I think anarchy most of the time. So I mean, if there's people that want to have their kids that are able to do that, I think maybe you should for any religious based after school activity, whether it's Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Satanist, whatever it is, the kids should have to sign like have their parents sign a permission form or something, because you don't want them to get like because who's going to lead the meeting? A teacher or there's got to be an adult there somehow.
Would you have been interested in the Satanic Club when you were in high school?
I'd
When
have
we
been
were in high school,
I'd have been interested in it, but I wouldn't have like. I'm not saying I'm
joined up.
satanic, but I've researched like Satanism. I've researched. I'm interested in all religions just because I'm kind of into like why people believe weird shit.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in that too, actually.
I mean, people thought the Wizard of South Mountain was real, like he was a real wizard,
Right. He might
and
have been
they
though.
they feel that he lost his powers after he wrote his they translated the book of I have it right here the book of spells. I'm the unofficial South Mountain wizard, so
You're
related
you're
to
part
him.
yeah, you're part of the family.
Yeah, so I'm the unofficial wizard of South Mountain. But they said whenever he translated his wizard book, his book of spells from German to English, he lost his powers and lost his relevancy. He died a poor old man.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that part of the story.
Dude, I went deep, especially after I found out I was related to the crazy motherfucker.
You had to at that point.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck kind of crazy shit runs in my family? I already knew we were fucking Looney Tunes, but
You didn't know it was like that.
no, I didn't know we were fucking going to Hogwarts.
All right, let's move on to another one. This one's from the New York Post. It has nothing to do with the last article, but it's kind of interesting. So published, this is another one from May 1st. A woman has a loud and full body orgasm during the Philharmonic concert in LA. Have you heard about this one?
No.
All right, well, we're going to go into details. So the ground really moved for one woman during the second movement of the LA Philharmonic performance of Tchaikovsky's Fifth Symphony when she experienced a loud and full body orgasm. Several concert goers described the woman's climactic moment Friday from the balcony at the packed Walt Disney Concert Hall. Holy shit, it was packed. Everyone kind of turned to see what was happening. Molly Grant, who was a woman sitting near the overjoyed woman, told the Los Angeles Times on Sunday, I saw the girl after it happened, and I assumed that she had an orgasm because she was heavily breathing and her partner was smiling and looking at her, like in an effort to not shame her, she said. It was quite beautiful, Grant added. An audio clip purporting to capture the woman's moment of ecstasy has gone viral. British composer Magnus Phineas, brother of actor Ralph Fiennes, I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong the first time, was also in attendance. A woman in the audience had a loud and full body orgasm during the fifth second movement. Band politely carried on.
That's awesome. I'm going to share it real quick just so people can see. This is the article here. It's kind of like a Facebook story kind of thing, it looks like. They have it. This is, I guess, the accessibility version of the deal. So
what would be your reaction had you have been sitting in the crowd and all this shit went down?
I would have been fucking rolling. Dude, I would have been laughing my ass off. We're so lucky as dudes. Like, what's the worst that we get? Like a boner in an awkward situation? Like, and it doesn't even really happen as an adult anymore. Like, remember in school, that was the weird one. Like, you're sitting in your 7th grade English class and you get a fucking hard on for no reason. And then the teacher calls you up to the board. And it's like, oh, I got to figure out how to tuck this in my waistband before I walk up to the board.
Oh my
I got to
God.
do it so no one can see it. That's awkward enough. Imagine having an orgasm in front of people at a concert.
Dude, that'd be fucking crazy.
Like, what do we get? We get fucking wet dreams. We get one nut and we're done.
And that's all she wrote.
Women, they get orgasms at a concert. They get, like, if you're lucky, 5 to 10 during one 30-second romp, maybe, allegedly. And we get one. We're just in and out of there like a fucking,
That's it.
like a kid that is in Hagerstown stealing a dirt bike, we're in and out.
All right, let's get into some drug news. How's that sound?
Drug news. More pink coke. Did you find it? Did you find pink coke?
No, I didn't find it, but I have been actively looking. Well, dude, I've been actively looking for it. I mean, it's just now hitting the European club scene, so it's got a little ways to make its way across the pond, dude.
Yeah, well, by the time we get it, I have fucking baby powder and fucking all kinds of other. Yeah,
it'll be fentanyl mostly.
Laxatives.
But check this one out. Okay, this is from Outside Magazine. All right, you would have wished this would have happened to you back in 07, 08 when we were hiking. But this is from Outside Magazine. The title, 2 arrested for selling drugs on the Appalachian Trail. Authorities in North Carolina say the duo were selling marijuana, mushrooms, and LSD to thru hikers. Is this the thru hiking world's equivalent to performance-enhancing drugs? The Macon County Sheriff's Office said that it arrested Bobby Ann Dralick and Lone Edward Correa after receiving tip, which led to officials to a van in the Rock Gap, North Carolina area. After searching the van with a drug sniffing dog, deputies found 5.56 pounds, so 5.5 pounds of marijuana, 8.78, 8 3/4 of psilocybin, and 8 doses of LSD, along with 10 grams of THC wax resin. While drug use isn't uncommon along the Appalachian Trail, marijuana, LSD, and mushrooms are prohibited on federal land.
It's prohibited on federal lands, but we'll release you from fucking prison. We'll sign the release but they won't, because the drug dealers, they'll let them sit and rot. People that were arrested in the 90s and 2000s and all that. North Carolina is probably simple possession.
It's a Bible Belt state.
Yeah. So I mean, are drugs decriminalized? What about marijuana? What are marijuana? So that's like the basis of all laws for me. Like because if they're lax on weed, they're gonna maybe be a little more lax on like mushrooms and shit like that.
So listen to this, and this is a little bit further down in the article, but it says notable hiking destinations like Colorado have legalized mushrooms as well. Have legalized mushrooms as well, and it links to another article where it's like Colorado, I guess, has places where you're allowed to legally ingest mushrooms and trip there. I don't know if you can find more about that or not.
Like a mushroom bar.
Not a mushroom bar, just like places out in nature where you're allowed to just sit and like, like they call them like meditation areas or whatever.
Like a retreat kind of thing.
I don't know, not really a retreat, like a spot where you can just sit there and get loaded, I guess.
Healing centers. That's how Colorado may regulate psychedelic mushrooms after voters decide to decriminalize its use. In November of 2022, let me find my tongue real quick.
Please.
Coloradans, that's just weird. I'd call
Col-
them Coloradians.
Coloridians.
Yeah, Coloradians voted to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms for people 21 and over, as we all know. You already said it once in the fucking. As well as allow healing centers to administer these substances.
Yeah,
That's pretty
okay.
fucking cool, dude. We're going to
Yeah,
Colorado. That's our first fucking trip when we make it big, dude.
that is pretty cool, isn't it?
We're gonna get a little. We're gonna find either. We're gonna find. We have to hook up with like Joey Diaz or Joe Rogan and find the cool people out in Denver, and
Yeah.
then we need to hit up like Colorado. We'll find someone that's got like a dope ass recording studio, and we'll make that a healing center. And we'll just get fucking lit.
We
And
we just need to hang out at Joe Rogan's comedy club and just see if we can find like Bravo or Coco Diaz or whatever.
yeah, because this man, I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, how do rich people get drugs? And it's like, because they're fucking rich.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not hear of more people getting busted? Because like the percentage of people that get busted with drugs and the percentage of people that do drugs in Hollywood or in just famous people in general, that's sky high.
Yo, check this out, man. So I got this young Latino guy that works with me now, and he's from originally from Honduras. And in fact, he actually had to go back and live in Honduras for a couple years not that long ago. But we got on the subject of ayahuasca and everything, and he's like, "Yeah, ayahuasca, it's easy to get in Honduras. It's not hard. Sometimes you can find the tea already made, and they'll sell it in like an old like 2 liter bottle or something like that." He told me about something even stronger than ayahuasca, and this, when you do it, it takes like 20 30 minutes, or I mean it lasts like 20 30 minutes, whereas ayahuasca is very quick. You got to keep doing it, to go back in. He said this lasts like 20 30 minutes. It's stronger than ayahuasca, and I guess the way he was talking, they kind of brew it into a tea or an elixir. um have you heard anything about that?
No, I know that ayahuasca is DMT, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
meant to I meant the tryptamine.
yeah. So let's see. I'll look that up. Long lasting DMT,
Honduras.
Honduras. I wonder how long like a peyote trip lasts.
Oh, I think they last long. And I heard you throw up too, man. It makes you sick when you ingest it, but you still trip even if you throw up.
I don't know. Fucking dude, Google sucks. Like they're owned by the fucking feds. Let's go to DuckDuckGo. Longer lasting DMT trip than ayahuasca. I have to say it like that because I have to spell it right.
But I don't know if it's DMT. It might be something different.
It says ayahuasca lasts longer than DMT, so I don't know. I'm not finding anything even on DuckDuckGo.
Well, none of us had ever heard of it either. Like the other guys that when we were talking to him, we hadn't heard of it either. But he said it's something down there in you know, near Guatemala, Honduras, down in that area. You can find it a lot of places.
Do you ever feel like a nerd, like when you're talking to someone and like they're just spouting off a bunch of interesting shit, and you're like, man, I wish I had a fucking pen and a piece of paper right now.
Yeah.
Like I gotta fucking take notes. Like sometimes when people do that, I'll whip out my phone and I'll sit there and just I'm like typing away and they're looking at me like, are you fucking ignoring me right now? I'm like, no, keep talking. What are you doing? I'm fucking taking notes, dude. I was
Yeah,
like,
dude,
this shit that you're talking about, I've got to know about it.
it's the same thing when you're trying to pick somebody's brain and neither of you all have enough time to do it and you're like, firing questions. Well, what happened with this? What happened when you did that? Like I do that with a lot of like Vietnam vets and shit. A bunch of the older guys come in and start talking to them and they're like, well, I got to get going. And I'm like, wait, no, hold on. I have another question.
You're trying to get away from them, or they're trying to
No,
get away from you. They're like, I got
yeah,
to finish my shopping, boy.
exactly. Yeah. He's like, yeah, I got to ride out here, buddy. It was nice talking to you though. It's like, well, do you have another minute? No, not really. All right, look, let's go on to the next one, man. We covered that. This is a really cool one. And it kind of goes how we're always having trouble with fucking internet and connection and everything here. We may have a solution to that. Okay. And this article comes from interestingengineering.com. This was published on May 1st. What a day for news on May 1st, man. Like every article we've done so far has been the first. But the title of this article is DARPA is making Nikola Tesla's dream of wireless energy a reality. So before I go into any of this, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make, I've already read this article, but they're trying to create a Wi-Fi signal from satellites that can cover a much more broader area than the type of broadband that we have right now. You know what I mean? And they're saying through satellites, through pinging from satellites, they'll be able to create Wi-Fi for everyone, no matter where they're at.
So DARPA's taking credit for what Elon Musk is doing with
Well,
Starlink.
here's what it says. No, they haven't done it yet. They're working on it right now. DARPA is developing a global laser beam wireless energy transfer network to provide near uninterruptible power supply to U.S. forces worldwide. If you read the whole article, I'm only going to skim through the keynotes, but dude, it's a really interesting article. And if they do that, and I hate to not sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I hate to, be on board with anything DARPA. But if they get it off the ground and it works, man, it sounds like a great idea. DARPA plans to create wireless energy transfer infrastructure to supply near uninterruptible power to the U.S. military bases worldwide. So they're going to start with the military, just like everything. We know how this works. They did it with the Tor browser. They did it with the original Internet Explorer. They've done it with
GPS.
everything. Yeah, exactly. GPS. The plan, as reported by Popular Mechanics, is to use a laser technology to beam electricity from around the planet, famously a dream of Nikola Tesla over 100 years ago. If successful, this technology, called fitting enough power, persistent optical wireless energy relay, so power is just the acronym for this, would make the US military less reliant on liquid fuel like diesel and vulnerable power lines, which can be intercepted or sabotaged by enemy forces. Um, I can keep going, but what are your thoughts right now?
So I'm a terrible listener. I heard internet. Like so they're trying to do pretty much what Elon is doing with internet with energy.
But not just, yeah, exactly, yeah, not just internet. I might have described it originally wrong with internet, but it's more of an energy, exactly, a wireless energy uh transferred with a laser beam, satellites and laser beams.
Well, that's perfect too, because I mean, you'd assume that if they're using satellites, they're probably going to be like harvesting the sun's power, most
Right.
likely. So using the sun's power, and it's not like, here on Earth where we have a cloudy day and you don't get as much of the light that you need to, hit those solar panels. You're constantly in sunlight.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, maybe it's I don't really understand how they're gonna like beam it. That might be potentially kind of dangerous.
Yeah,
Like
I'm
you're
not.
just beaming fucking electric energy from a satellite to the
That's
earth.
what that's what I'm saying. They would have to instate no fly zones around that area. I mean, what would happen if, say, another satellite were to orbit in line with the beam? I mean, there's so many variables that can come into play with something like this.
Yeah, I mean, if they map it right, you got to think there's already thousands of satellites up there. So, I mean, I'm sure that's very intricate, like the mapping of satellites,
Right,
because we're just one country and we probably have the most satellites, but there's how many first world countries, second world countries that have satellites and they all generally coexist and traverse space without a hitch.
right. Yeah,
So, I mean,
yeah.
that wouldn't be, it's more of me like, what are those beams of energy or like the whole 5G debate, which I'm not on that, like with that conspiracy camp, but like you do have to kind of think about it. I don't believe in it. And I think you talked about it one time too, like the different waves and shit and how they affect humans and the mind. We know that there are waves that it goes back to the MK Ultra thing.
In CIA's program, HemiSync, that's what you're referring to that I talked about, where they would have these, yeah, radio waves, and these radio waves would trigger certain things in the mind.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. So like what is the human effect or the effect on wildlife going to be when you use this technology? Like, because I mean, if you could figure out how to turn energy into maybe like radio waves or X-ray, because that's all, everything's energy, everything.
Right.
So I mean, it's just that's a high output of energy to supply, even just a small encampment of military forces, it would probably require a substantial amount of energy.
Isn't it so fucking like typical how they are, how they cycle technology? It's like, first we're going to create it, then it's going to go to the military. Once the military has completely used it up and have no need for it anymore, then we'll release it to the civilians. When we get the dumbed down version of it, you know what I mean?
Well, they have to know how to use it. They got to know how to use it to track us and collect data on us.
Yeah, it's never us first. They're always
No,
going to have it first.
the government doesn't give a flying fuck about its citizens. We should know that. I mean, no government does. No
You said
government in the history of the world.
you sound like fucking Kanye West. George Bush does not care about black people.
Probably doesn't. But I liked Obama. Okay, I shook his hand, and that's what I did. We did it, and got a shoe thrown in my head. But Obama's only half black, so I got along with him.
Very Stratero.
I can't do a fucking George Bush. It's been so long. I could do it when we were in school just because the motherfucker was on TV like and people that get all fucking bent out of shape about people picking on Joe Biden. Dude, we used to fucking everybody used to rag on George
Oh my
Bush.
God, dude. Bush would get annihilated, man. And tourist, remember? This tourist organization. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, thicken up your fucking skin a little bit because we used to, and it was Republicans and Democrats alike. Everybody fucking ragged on George Bush.
Yeah, everybody.
And guess what? He wasn't senile at that point.
No, he
Imagine
would.
if George Bush ran, if he was able to run for president, if he lives, which he will, he'll live to be
Uh,
like 180, but like all the presidents do, like the red faced vampire Bill Clinton. Um, but I mean, imagine if he ran for president at 80 years old.
really?
You know, that would be a fucking sight to see. Uh, George Bush, 80 years old, running the country. That'd be better than Biden, dude.
We should put that into a one of those AI, image generators. George Bush president at 80 whatever years old.
Oh God, they're gonna give him an excuse. They're gonna give him an excuse. I'm gonna
Bill.
share it. Like they're saying, or famous faces with rosacea. I'm showing you now. Here it is. My screen share is loading. Look at that.
You sure he's not just an alcoholic?
No, he's a fucking vampire.
Maybe.
That face is the face of drinking children's blood at Bohemian Grove.
Well, you'd think it'd make him look a little bit better.
Well, who's to say that he wasn't the fucking king of England in 1722? Like, have you ever
Well,
like went down some reptilian? If he's a reptilian, you know,
I love the whole reptilian theory, man.
I think that one is the correct. That's up there for me with flat Earth. Like, I just don't believe the draconians are coming here and assuming human form and
Yeah,
blinking
but
sideways.
dude, I've been on those fucking 11, 12 o'clock nights, man, when you're listening to David Icke and it's like, fuck, man, he's just speaking to you before you're getting ready to go to sleep. And you're thinking, you're like, man, this motherfucker might be right.
David Icke, or have you ever listened to like Coast to Coast AM, like Art Bell?
Oh, man, I love Art Bell. Coast Coast AM is the shit, dude.
And George Norrie's cool. Like, I like listening to him, but he's not Art Bell.
The Art Bell days, man, some of those guests and those people that called in, man, you were sitting there listening to their shit and you're like, fuck.
What did he say? From the high desert in the great American Southwest, I'm Art Bell.
Yeah.
Let's see what he says exactly.
That shit was classic.
Yeah, he says, well, I'm going to do it in my best voice. From the high desert in the great American Southwest, I'm Art Bell, and we're going to start the night opening up lines. I can already tell you, folks, it's going to get very interesting.
That was good.
Dude, he was the best, man. Dude's a fucking gangster. He lived to be old as shit, too.
I know, man. Rest in peace, Art Bell.
RIP to the legend. You know what? Everybody gives Howard Stern and all them all the credit for podcasts and like Adam Carolla and all those guys. Let's give it up to fucking AM radio hosts. Because no one listened. I listen to AM radio because of shit like Coast to Coast AM.
Were you familiar with Don Imus when he was on?
Don, yeah, oh yeah. I used to watch him when he had his show that they put on in the morning.
Yeah. Don was he was cool too. I mean, I don't agree with some of the stuff he said about the that women's basketball team, but his show was not bad at all, man. And he was one of the GOATs back in the day. Him and who was the other guy? That just passed away. You know who I'm talking about.
Larry King?
No, not Larry King. The conservative, heavyset guy. Rush. Yeah, Rush.
Rush Limbaugh was pretty cool. He kind of got like Alex Jonesy to me a little bit.
I called Rush like the Disney version of Alex Jones. You know what I mean? Where he's kind of just on the fringes of, he's trying to make a family show and he's not going to get too Alex Jones. He knows how to control himself a little better.
He's like the Disney version of Alex Jones, circa like Disney, maybe like
94.
Yeah, 94 to like 2010. And then now the Disney version is like Sean Hannity.
Now the Disney, yeah, Hannity, definitely. You're right.
I don't like Hannity at all. I don't know why. He just rubs me the wrong way. He looks like a fucking politician that has a news show.
Right.
Like, he reminds me of Ted Cruz, kind of. Yeah, Hannity. I used to like him. You know who else I like, though, that's conservative? Mark Levin. Have you ever listened to him?
Oh, my God, yeah. I used to listen to Mark Levin every night. He had the 8 o'clock show. There's a 7 to 8 show. I can't remember.
Yeah, and he was on. I listened to him on like AM radio and shit, though.
Well, they dropped him from Fox. They also dropped Dan Bongino from Fox, too, right around the time they dropped Tucker. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. They have a new corporate line. They're going to be, they're neocons.
You know Bongino, though, ran for Senate a few years ago. He's a cool dude, man. He used to be a former NYPD, former Secret Service. I mean, he's a badass dude.
I listen to him. I don't watch his stuff because his face creeps me out.
Yeah, well, he's got a podcast, too. He's got a podcast. Yeah. He had a show on Fox, and then he's on Rush Limbaugh's spot on WMAL DC's news station.
How long before you think they get rid of Greg Gutfeld?
Not long.
He's like the last bastion of hope for that network. He's fucking hilarious. I used to watch his show when it came on at like midnight.
Oh yeah.
The 5. I think they moved that up to like a primetime slot.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
He took over for Glenn Beck when Glenn Beck left, I think.
Yeah. Are you ready to move on? You want to move on to another article? I got another doozy.
Yeah, let's get another article. Let's see what you got.
All right. Well, you and I are both fascinated by the dark web, right?
Yeah, it's
And
very interesting.
it's
To
the
say the
under
least.
it's the underworld, no pun intended, but it's the underworld that you rarely get a glimpse into unless you're actively on the Tor browser. But this one is from 6abc.com. Article was published on May 2nd. 288 arrested in largest international operation targeting darknet trafficking from the DOJ. Nearly 300 people were arrested as a result of a years-long, 3-continent operation targeting darknet trafficking of fentanyl and opioids, the Justice Department and FBI announced on Tuesday. Under Operation Spector, TOR, it's a play on words, Tor browser, the largest ever operation targeting the trafficking of fentanyl and opioids on the dark web. 288 people were arrested within the last 2 years. More than 850 kilograms of drugs, including 64 kilos of fentanyl or fentanyl-laced narcotics intended to be sold on the dark net, were seized. Our message to criminals on the dark web is this: you can try to hide in the furthest reaches of the internet, but the Justice Department will find you and hold you accountable for your crimes, Attorney General Merrick Garland said at a news conference on Tuesday.
He's a dipshit.
I
But
knew you were gonna say that.
I don't like that motherfucker. He
Knew
wishes
you were
he
gonna say that.
he wishes he was a judge on the Supreme Court, but guess what? Republicans controlled Congress, motherfucker.
Not gonna happen.
But anyway, I mean, yeah, that's all good. 850 kilos. Great. You know, pat yourself on the back. Just what I want you to do right now, Merrick Garland, is just reach around real slow and give yourself just a nice little pat. Can we get a pat on the back for Merrick Garland? You know what? You're going after people on the fucking internet. What about going to the root fucking cause? China and the cartels. How about that? Then you get all the fucking kilograms of fentanyl and opioids and all that shit out. You know what? How about starting to hold pharmaceutical companies liable for peddling their drugs without really researching them, like the fucking vaccine? How about we do some shit like that? Maybe we act proactively instead of they're fucking, I don't know, maybe they weren't nerds on the internet, but I feel like the money and the time and the energy could have been better spent going after like the cartel, something like that, and I'm sure they maybe got some cartel members and shit, but you got the low hanging fruit as usual. You got small time street peddling, like all together out of 288, 850 kilos. So, I mean, you might have got a couple bigger ones, but what about the small guys? They probably got some small guys in there. Spector? Like, come on, get a better fucking name. It's 2023. Like, I want to see, like, maybe do, like, I don't know, Operation Poppy Seed or some shit like that.
Here's another thing, okay? And harping on what you said about the low hanging fruit, that's really all this was the low hanging fruit. And I'll tell you why. Because in the dark web, in these communities and these drug communities, there's certain ones that are elitists, okay? And they have their own sites that they go to. And instead of there being 250 to 500 members, there might be 25 members or maybe 50 members at the most. All of them are trusted merchants. All of them are trusted buyers. You know what I mean? And it's very elitist, very underground. They're not advertising. Like I've said before about the dark web, okay? Those are the guys you're not going to catch. And a lot of them are Eastern European organized crime or, Albanians. Well, that's Eastern Europe, but
Yeah, Armenians.
Armenians, North Koreans are also involved in this, Chinese especially. Okay. What this operation was precisely the low hanging fruit because if it were the big guys, they would have caught 3 times, 5 times more than what they got. And as far as the amount of people, it wouldn't have been 288 people. It might have been 5. One mastermind, if you really want to think about it. Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah, it does because I'm looking it up. I'm looking something up right now because I want to kind of segue. So not segue, but I want to kind of tie it together and maybe help our opinion get through to people that maybe don't agree. So 288 internationally. That's not just United States. In my opinion, they're doing this because they want to have some campaign leverage. You know, we're going into election season. So they want to have some campaign leverage. Joe Biden's tough on crime. You can burn down a fucking city in peaceful protests, but Joe Biden's tough on crime. He arrested, he was the head of a 288 people getting arrested for fucking drug crimes. Really, to me, drugs, that's why I'm so pro drug. It's not because I do them, it's because
They're petty crimes.
it's petty crime. It's they're victimless, and people that and I don't mean that like they're victimless as far as there's no victim, like the families of drug addicts and everything. But you're not a victim. Like you're a victim. You're not a victim of the drug. You're a victim of the addict.
But what about to the guys selling fentanyl and people are dropping dead from it? I mean, come on. Somebody's got to be held accountable for that.
A lot of times the people like the guys that are selling the fentanyl don't know. I mean, there's some out there that do it, but the same thing though. It's when you get that person that sold the fentanyl, where'd they get it from? Where'd they get it from? You're getting the low hanging fruit. And
Right.
we all know like the low hanging fruit, and especially like the smaller part of the organization. And it's like this even like corporate America. Like, don't snitch on your coworker because you'll be labeled a brown noser, or something like that. And it's the same thing in the drug trade and everything. Don't be a snitch. But guess what? El Chapo's gonna snitch, or well, maybe not El Chapo. That who's he gonna snitch on? The CIA? But it's like once you get up there, like look at Cohen, Trump's lawyer. He fucking turned on a dime on Trump. How many high level executives, Bernie Madoffs and shit like that, or how many people that were in Bernie Madoff's camp rolled on him? Because the higher ups will roll. These street level ones, you're never going to get a fucking piece of information out of them.
It's
So
just
you're
like
you're just spinning your fucking wheels.
it's just like Sammy the Bull and John Gotti. Sammy the Bull was John's right hand man, and he was the guy that delivered all the information they needed to him.
100%. It's always going to be the upper echelon that's going to fucking spill the beans.
Right.
100% every single time. It's not going to be your street guy that gives you up. But meanwhile, so we busted 288, but in Chicago last week, at least 20 shootings, at least.
But did you hear about everything going on in Mexico? Like, dude, they're rounding up a lot of guys, a lot of El Chapo's sons and everything. They're rounding those guys up and locking them up. I don't know if it's the Americans doing it. I would imagine it is because the Mexicans, they just have no interest in taking these, cartels down because the Mexican government's corrupt. I'll just say it. You know it and I know it and everybody knows it. But they're finally starting to round up some of these bigger guys in the game, and El Chapo's son and a few others. I think both of his sons got taken down here recently.
Well, I mean, that also goes in consort with once El Chapo was arrested, the Sinaloa cartel lost a lot of power and
Yeah,
they fractured. So
right.
right now you have the Jalisco New Generation. I think that's one of the biggest up and coming cartels in
Yes,
Mexico. So El Chapo's kids, his wife, his wives, whatever he had, girlfriends, associates, they're not going to have the level of protection that they had from the Sinaloa cartel. And the Jalisco New Generation, they're not going to fucking do anything to protect them. They're trying to kill them. They're trying to take their territory.
yeah.
So I mean, really,
Right.
do you want? Is it dot? Because the Jalisco new generation is vicious. I've talked about it before on here. Whereas the Sinaloan cartel and everything like that, they would go into a neighborhood and buy grandma a car, get a hip replacement for grandpa, fix the roads, do shit that the Mexican government wasn't doing, provide insurance, jobs for the citizens. This new Jalisco cartel, they're going in and they're like Hitler style, like they're going in and inducing fear, like they're leading through fear. And it's like, look, motherfucker, say something, we'll chop your head off. You don't do what we tell you to do, we'll chop your head off. We'll put it on this fucking pike right here at the entrance of the city. We own this fucking town now. So, I mean, is it go to jail or get fucking chopped up into pieces by the new, well, not even chopped up in pieces, get your head fucking put on a pike and they'll find your body in the fucking Gulf of Mexico or something.
Yeah, they got no interest in winning hearts and minds.
None at all, and yeah, exactly. And maybe I painted a picture that the Sinaloan cartel was, friendly and, you know,
Perfect.
do you want to bring them to the professional day at the school? No, but compared to this new cartel that they have, they're fucking saints, you know. So
Do we have time for one more article?
we got time for 10. I don't care. Let's do it.
All right, I got one more. This last one doesn't have anything to do with drugs, doesn't have anything to do with dark web, nothing to do with politics, nothing like that. But it's a hell of an article. This one is a little older. Okay, so this one was actually published on April 26th. So this may have happened by now. You might know better than me because you know this area better than I do. But this happened in Texas. So the website is onlyinyourstate.com if you want to look it up. Title of the article: A gigantic seaweed blob bigger than the entire U.S. is headed straight for Texas. I'll continue with the article. Listen up, beachgoers. If the water is calling your name, read this article before you answer it. A 5,000 miles long seaweed blob is on its way to the Gulf Coast. It's already starting to wash up on some Florida beaches. The mass could impact Texas coastlines soon. So don't be surprised if you see more seaweed on the beach than usual. Doesn't have too much more than that. What are your thoughts?
It's kind of weird. I mean, seaweed, like for it to be a blob, what if it's a UFO, like disguised as seaweed? I don't know. They're saying it's already starting to like appear in parts of Florida
Florida.
and some other Gulf states. Sargasm has its downsides. When it begins to degrade, it releases a chemical called hydrogen sulfide. Oh, that stinks. Oh man, their beaches are gonna be smelling shitty.
It says it weighs more than 10 million tons. The seaweed is nothing Texas beaches haven't seen before, but the sheer amount of this particular mask is unprecedented. Made up of sargassum, a type of seaweed that typically washes ashore on coastal beaches during the summer, the seaweed blob isn't at all bad news. Sargassum actually serves as an important ecological purpose as it strengthens sand dunes and provides a habitat for certain marine animals. As with most life, as with most things in life, however, sargassum, this much of it at least, has its downsides. When the seaweed begins to degrade, it releases a chemical compound called hydrogen sulfide, like you were saying. Not only does this compound exude an odor akin to that of rotten eggs, but it can also be toxic to breathe in. Furthermore, sargassum prevents sea turtles from being able to lay their eggs in the sand. Oh man, that's fucked up.
Sea turtles, man, they get a bad rap. I don't know if anybody, probably not, listens to this, but I made my foray into podcasting with Hudson Herschel. And, I kind of talked about paper straws and how I thought they were stupid because you never see in any of those, like, at least you can breathe through a paper straw, but those little 6-pack rings, the I actually named it's Stu Turtle. I had a whole story about Stu Turtle and his untimely demise. And then we turned him into Turtle Stew. But we got to protect the turtles, all turtles. They're fucking cool creatures, dude. They're just awesome. Like you're your body comes like porcupines and shit. I don't know. It's not on the topic of seaweed, but animals like that are cool to me. Like I fuck a panda, fuck Cody panda. But dude, turtles and armadillos and shit like that, that's fucking cool as hell. So we
Wouldn't
got
that
to
be
protect them.
wouldn't that be some wild shit though? You go down to Texas or Florida, you're going for your vacation, dude. You all go out on the beach. Here's this fucking blob of fucking seaweed just coming towards the beach, and you're like, okay. Once it gets there, it just smells like almighty shit, and your whole fucking beach week is ruined, man.
Just ruin. What if like something happens? Like there's a okay, so scenario here.
Here we go.
So we got the deep state and they've got to stop this blob of seaweed. So what does the world's greatest superpower think of? And this is like 50s style, like maybe horror or something like that. So what do we do to get rid of this blob? We fucking nuke it. So we nuke it, and then we created the swamp thing.
Oh my god, dude! Wouldn't that be crazy? It's like a Fallout creature.
Yeah, exactly. What's what you remember? It's that old ass movie, the old horror movie, The Swamp Thing or The Thing
Yeah,
or
I
whatever it is.
remember. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so like we created the fucking thing, or like Godzilla. Like, what if it is like a Komodo or some kind of fucking sea dragon that's surrounded by fucking algae and seaweed and coral and shit, and we nuke it and we fucking create Godzilla.
That'd be fucking awesome.
And then the Japanese are just like, God damn it, we tried to tell you motherfuckers.
But dude, wrap your mind around this though. This glob of seaweed heading towards Texas, bigger than the entire United States. And once it gets there and starts to disintegrate, it's going to exude a chemical that is toxic to breathe in. I mean, come the fuck on. That's like a worst case scenario right there. What if it affects all of us?
What if the Chinese created it?
Oh, they might have.
You know, they tried to get us with COVID. That
Tried
didn't
to get
work.
us tried to get us with the balloons. That didn't work.
Yeah, so what are we gonna do now? Hey, what about the seaweed? Let's stink them out first. And you know, they're dumb Americans. They like going to the beach anyway. Maybe they'll just put up with the smell, and then we'll kill half the population of fucking Texas. Maybe
Oh
that's where
man.
they think that that's their biggest challenge to invading the United States is Texas because they're like, you know, everybody says don't mess with Texas, and they got a fuckload of guns.
Yeah.
Let's take Texas out first because San Francisco, LA, New York City, DC, Baltimore, they're going to be easy to handle. But what they forgot about is Tampa, Florida, and Miami.
Why? Why?
Well, because there's a bunch of Dominicans, Cubans, and crazy motherfuckers like crazy meth head crackers down there. You got Rick Ross, Trick Daddy, Flies. I mean, you going to roll up on them?
I don't know that Plies is anything to worry about these days.
I don't know. He got banned for a while. I think he came back, but I still wouldn't roll up on him. That motherfucker's probably got guns galore. Or he's surrounded by dudes that got guns. And because Florida is a fairly conservative state, they have fairly liberal gun laws. Like they're very open. I think they're even constitutional carry. So you forget about Florida where, you know, oh, they just have, you know, fake hips and fake tits.
This shit is coming right in time for summer too. Like the worst possible time.
Yeah, shout out to my homeboy Craig down there. Hope you're not going to Galveston this year. You're going to be shitted out. You're going to go out on that balcony of that hotel and go to breathe that morning beach salty air, and you're going to fucking end up retching over the balcony, puking on some poor dude down below you.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I
you're
did that
probably
one
right.
night. I did that one night in Ocean City a couple years ago whenever I had I'm not going to incriminate because I did some other things too, but went down in like March. There was no one there. I started drinking at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't stop the next day until like 4 in the morning. And I
Jesus.
ended up puking over the fucking balcony that night. I was
I've
smoking a
never
cigarette. Have you ever swallowed a cigarette when you're
No,
going to
I
inhale it?
haven't. No.
Well, I had the hiccups and I hiccup and swallowed the cigarette, and that started a chain reaction. I just fucking ralphed all over that balcony.
I've never seen you throw up before.
I was pretty fucked up, dude. I drank like 18 beers before even going to the bar, or I had an 18 pack. I had a fifth of Ciroc, And then so I was drinking that when we would go back to the room. We went to the Purple Moose. I drank in the morning at 7 o'clock when we went down for breakfast. I was drinking screwdrivers, eating pancakes. And then we
Jesus
got back. I take
Christ.
like an hour nap. And then I cracked open the beers and started going to town on them. We get up to the bar and they had like, I think 50-cent natural lights. So you can
Oh
only
boy.
imagine.
You were an animal.
I drank the fuck out. And then I was doing grape bombs, cherry bombs, Jaeger bombs. I was drinking 2 like cherry bombs to a beer. And you know how fast I drink beer. I was fucking like every 30 seconds up at the fucking bar.
Where were your chaperones at this point?
It's just me and my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife then, but it was just us.
Yeah, where was she at while you were
I was slipping her drinks, so she wasn't able to keep an eye on me.
huh.
And I probably had a couple double shots of Jack too. That's what gets me into trouble when I go to the bar, because I'll go up, I'll get 2 beers and a double shot of Jack. I'll throw the Jack back real quick, and then I'll have the 2 beers. They're like, "Why do you need 2 beers?" Like, because the first one's gonna last like 15 seconds.
You're just gonna pound it.
If I had fucking 4 arms, I'd get 4.
God damn, just having 2 arms sucks, doesn't it?
It does, man. I wish I was Goro. Oh,
Wish you were.
let's not talk about Mortal Kombat.
Fuck you. Oh, I hate that fucking game, man.
So speaking of games, what games have you been on this week?
What have I been playing? Been playing Quake. Yeah, I've been playing the Quake remaster pretty much. The Horde mode. And then I play through the campaign. I've played through the campaign multiple times. I don't know why. I just will play it over and over again. But didn't do a whole lot of gaming this week. But I got some time off coming up this coming week, so I'm gonna get on it. But what about you?
Is Quake that game that we were playing the other day?
That was Quake 2.
Yeah,
And
fuck that game.
That wasn't the remaster. That was the original. Or I mean, that they didn't remaster the second one. What I'm talking about was the first one that they remastered last year or the year before. It's got up-to-date controls and everything. It's a lot different than the one we played.
Okay, so I'd probably be better at that one then.
Oh, yeah, you'd be a beast at it. Cody had never played it before in his life. And with the pro controllers, man, he picked it up in a couple minutes. He's a beast at it now.
So for you kids that don't understand, like we're playing, I went over to his house the other day and we're playing this game, and most of the kids these days aren't going to understand. So take these away, these 2 buttons, take those away and just use your, I can't, it's backwards. Use the D-pad and that's it. Just use the D-pad to run around and play a fucking first-person shooter game.
Well, dude, that's how they were though. Medal of Honor, the originals, they were like that. There's a lot of first-person shooters on the PS1 that
and I was good at them back then.
Yeah, I was too. I'm still am, dude. Once you get used to it, you just got to realize there's no left or no right hand thumb movement at all, except for the buttons. You know, all the movement is right in the left thumb.
Yeah. So, but my game's pretty boring. You know what I'm playing?
Rocket League.
Fucking Rocket League, dude. I'm addicted. I'm fucking hooked like a motherfucker. I can't stop playing it. I get antsy. I get angry. I get anxious when I win and I'm kicking ass, dude. I was like, whenever this is the extent of how addicted to Rocket League is. I'm a fucking idiot. So this morning, whenever I'm getting my internet sorted out and everything from Xfinity's fuck up, I turned the hotspot on my phone so I could play Rocket League while I sat there and waited on hold with Xfinity to fix my internet, so I could have an internet connection and play Rocket League.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I'm sitting there just draining my phone was so hot, and I'm getting pissed off because my ping kept going up, and you need like low latency whenever you're playing a game like that. So you need somewhat decent internet. Like your internet would be fine for it. Your ping would be pretty good. So I'm sitting there like a good ping is under 80, I'd say. I'm sitting there, I'm like jacked up to like 240.
Jesus.
Losing connection. So, and it like skips around. So I'll be like at one end of the goal and then it'll go through and I'll be at the other end of the fucking goal. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened? So, but yeah, I've been playing that pretty exclusively. I'm trying to find, there's a game out now. It's a vampire game. Redfall. but everybody says it sucks. So I don't know if I'm gonna. It's not free or discounted yet either, so I'm not gonna get it. I don't think.
Redfall?
Yeah, it's about vampires. Like the reviews, it's like they built this whole world and they're saying it's totally wasted.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's stop trying to make Destiny. I never played Destiny either though, so I don't know what they're talking about.
It's only it says it's not even releasing on PlayStation consoles. So I guess it's just an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, and those generally suck. Like the exclusive games, I don't care for those to begin with. Like whether it's PS or PlayStation or Microsoft or whoever. I like, come on, create a game that you can release to everybody. But they are like The Last of Us. I think that's getting a PC release, and that's a Sony game. I believe. I want to say that's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
So
think you're
I'm
right
I'm
about
excited
that.
to. I played that when it first came out, and then I revisited a couple years ago, and then I just haven't. But I'd like to get into that. And they
Fucking
remastered it for next gens.
dude, that's one of those games, man. You talk to anybody that had a PlayStation 3 or 4, everybody played Last of Us. You know that?
That's a cool game.
Oh, I know. It's a badass game.
Last of Us, Assassin's Creeds was always my go-to. Or like I was looking through some of our old chats the other night, and I was like, fucking Black Ops, dude. We were on that shit like a motherfucker. Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2.
Yeah, those were so great. I go back to Black Ops 2 and play it all the time still.
Is it dead online?
Yeah, I play the bots and dude, I played through the campaign too, man. Black Ops 1 even had such great campaigns, man. You get so invested in it. Victor Reznov, Frank Woods.
Was Reznov in 2 or 3? Which one was he
He
in again?
he was in 1 and 2.
Yeah, yeah. Because I like his character in both of those, but I like it. And did you play through Black Ops 2 the whole way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you remember at the end, like in the credits, when he's in his fucking wheelchair and Sevenfold's playing,
Yep.
and he's like fucking rocking out, and like,
Yep.
and he's in his fucking wheelchair and shit. That's awesome.
Dude, I like the Reznov missions when you're in Afghanistan riding the horses and shit. You remember that in Black Ops 2?
Yeah, yeah.
That shit was fucking crazy, man. I loved those games.
And see, that's subliminal too, because that takes me back, and maybe it's because the kick I've been on, and people maybe not realize that like avid gamers, they just played the game or they went online and just played solo or like multiplayer. That's it. They didn't touch the campaign. But what was his name? The guy's name? Not Reznov, the other Mason, Alexander Mason.
Yeah, Mason.
You know what that program was, right?
That was MK Ultra.
MK motherfucking Ultra, dude.
Remember the numbers, Mason. The numbers. Remember the
Yeah.
numbers. Yeah.
They had him programmed, and he thought that it was. And Reznov was fake, wasn't he? He wasn't even a real person, or was he a real person?
I don't know. Like he died and then he came back and like, oh, dude, I can't remember. It's been so long since I played it.
Was it kind of like a Beautiful Mind? Like he like out they broke Alexander Mason so bad that he became like a paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. Yeah, you got to watch the Act Man on YouTube because he gushes over the Black Ops series and he goes into so much detail about the story and everything.
They got kind of weird, the newer ones. I like playing them. Like they were cool to play. Like being able to run up the side of a wall and shit. And like some of those kills you could get were fucking awesome.
Yeah, I know they were the shit.
But I mean, I don't know. There's something about being in the jungles of Vietnam and shit, or like riding on the back of a Humvee in Africa in the 80s.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like that. I like that one where you're operating the. I think it was the boat with the gunner. You're the gunner on the boat, and it's they're playing "Sympathy for the Devil" by the Rolling Stones, and I think it's Ice Cube is the guy that's telling you what to do, like enemies incoming, and you know what I mean. He's the guy talking to you on the radio and shit.
yeah, that was the best, like one of the best levels. I love that
Yeah,
one. It was hard as fuck, dude.
they were able to capture that '60s fucking vibe like so well in that game.
It's like Forrest Gump going into Vietnam, like Fortunate Son playing, choppers coming in,
Yeah.
And that's what, like, dude, it's gotta suck for those veterans too, because really it's a beautiful country.
Right.
So you're here in this South Pacific country in this beautiful terrain. Well, maybe it wasn't beautiful towards the end after we dropped a bunch of Agent Orange and napalm.
Yeah, no shit. After we
Yeah.
destroyed it.
Without fucking consideration even for our own troops. So, and that's another thing. Think about it. If you don't believe in conspiracy theories, think about Vietnam. We put out Agent Orange with reckless abandon. We didn't give a flying fuck who was there. We put out Agent Orange, and then we sent our fucking troops in
Right.
without any regard for their well-being. And they say, the wars are fought and won by the poor, while the wealthy sit there and collect the rewards. The old send their young to die, but they didn't give a fuck about them. And so if you don't believe MK Ultra was real, maybe you should get you a fucking encyclopedia and read up on that shit. Maybe play Black Ops.
So what have you been watching? What shows are you on?
Trying to find shit. I've been watching some In Search Of, the new one with not the one with Spock. Well, he's the second Spock. Not Leonard Nimoy, but In Search Of. Who is that dude?
Leonard Nimoy.
No.
You said Nimoy. It's Nimoy.
What was his name? I can't remember the dude's name. He played in like American Horror Story. He played in the new Star Trek. New host. What the fuck is his name? Reboot. I should have typed in reboot. I'm trying to find this guy's name. Sorry, guys. You got to In Search Of reboot.
Yeah, dude. We don't have all fucking night, man.
Zachary Quinto. So
Yeah,
he's a pretty cool guy.
I don't know who that is.
He plays some cool shows and stuff. He's pretty cool. But I've been watching that, like MK Ultra, mainly podcast, Alex Jones. Listen to the OBDM episode about Bigfoot this week.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. I'm still listening to last week's episodes. I watch them in sections, or I listen to them in sections.
You're just gonna brush that one off. You're not interested in Bigfoot.
No, I couldn't give a shit less.
What about the Snallygaster?
I don't know what it is.
It's from this area, the Snallygaster dude. So, but yeah, that's what I've been watching. I'm trying to find podcasts and watching Twitch streams for people playing Rocket League. Nothing really has caught my attention on Netflix or Hulu or anything recently.
I'll tell you what you got to check out. This is what I've been watching like before I go to sleep at night. Man, I'll be like real tired and everything, and I'll turn this shit on and I'll like perk right back up because I'm so interested in it. But Anonymous, the hacking group, the YouTube, they're on YouTube. The YouTube channel actually is anonymous, and I don't know if it's ran by the actual official anonymous hacking group, but they post these like 10 to 15 minute videos, sometimes twice a day, but usually once a day. And it always goes into like some crazy shit. Like sometimes they'll be talking about like the deception of Elon, how like he's just trolling everybody and he's not like a really genuine guy like we think he is. Then the next episode will be talking about ley lines in the world and how these ley lines correlate with energy that the earth gives off, and it's just really crazy shit, man. You should check it out. Anybody listening should check it out too. Anonymous YouTube, and pick any video. I mean, if you're a conspiracy guy, you're gonna totally dig this, man. It's gonna get that scratch you've been itching. It's gonna itch that scratch. I mean, scratch that itch. What am I trying to say?
He couldn't find
The
his
fuck?
tongue either.
Whatever.
So it's kind of like Stargates and shit like that too. Like you heard about those, like Stargates. Like they say, like the
Yeah.
pyramids is a Stargate.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, man. A lot of it is pretty. I'm not saying a lot of it, but some of the videos are pretty far fetched, and they go to a lot of like woo woo type stuff. But then there's other videos where it's kind of like I throw it in like the David Icke category, where it's like they say some pretty off the wall stuff, but then you got to sit there and think about it and dwell on it, and you're like, man, what if there might be some truth to that, you know?
So like if you talk about to people about Starfish Operation Starfish Prime
Right.
because they would think that's insane too. So for people that don't know what that is, because that's like the whole thing about conspiracy theories, dude. That's what gets me into them. Is like we think this is crazy. Do you think the government would really try to set the ionosphere on fire? Like we have to live on this planet. These motherfuckers are on the planet trying to set the planet on fire, like the atmosphere and the ionosphere, and it's a real thing. Operation Starfish Prime. When we were testing all the nuclear, we were detonating nuclear bombs in the fucking upper atmosphere of the planet.
That's fucking crazy, isn't it?
So yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, so when you say it's like some of them are out like far out there, they are. There's some that are far out there to me, and it's like, but I always kind of use that as like my guide point is like, what did the government already try to fucking do? And
Right.
we've got proof of it that they did it. So is this really that far fetched that, or like, could this really be true? Like Bigfoot could, who knows?
Exactly.
We could be fighting an interdimensional war with fucking vampires and werewolves, and they're just really good at hiding it, like Underworld.
That'd be some wild shit.
Like there could be blade just out there running around.
Not paying taxes and shit.
Yeah, just not paying taxes, motherfucker. Taxation's theft.
All right. Well, you ready to wrap her up, man? I think we got a full episode full of shenanigans.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good episode. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up now and let everybody know we appreciate you guys checking us out. Check
Hell
us
yeah.
out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I'm just gonna say everywhere because I'm not going through the whole fucking list of social media sites. We're up on more than 10 podcast sites now, but for the video feed, you have until Sunday to watch it on Facebook Live, the replay from that. Then I take that down and archive it. You watch the video on YouTube or Spotify. If you want to watch the video somewhere else, you're fucked. Well, it's on Rumble too, so there's 3. So maybe you should check out YouTube, Rumble, or Spotify. And if you check us out, you like it, subscribe. If you don't like it, subscribe anyway. I don't give a fuck if you like it.
And check out our review from Not Woke on Facebook.
Yeah, check out Not Woke Shows. If you like this podcast, you'll like his reviews. He gives a pretty honest review of TV shows, podcasts, books. I don't know if he does books. I'm probably just making that up, but he does TV shows, movies, all that. So Not Woke Shows. He's got a website. If there's something that you didn't see on the website and you want to submit it, you can submit it. We submitted the podcast. He did a pretty cool review for us. We appreciate it. So definitely go give him some love and check his page out. And I think he's on most socials, also Twitter, all that stuff. So maybe even on MySpace. We should do a MySpace page, dude. Let's bring MySpace back.
Fuck Facebook.
No, let's leave that in the fucking dumpster where it belongs, honestly.
Yeah, fuck Tom.
Yeah, Tom's a dick. Fucking failure. He got beaten by a fucking dweeb reptilian.
And Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys checking out our podcast again. Again, we're still, we've got a good bit of guests lined up. We're going to have someone in the coming weeks. But if you guys are interesting, someone interesting that wants to be on a podcast, let us know. I don't know what Will's willing to do. I'm even open to, coming on some other podcasts. If you guys want to kind of work something out where, it's mutual, just let me know. You can comment, message on the socials, or email us at ubec.wd@gmail.com. But signing off. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll talk to you again next week.
Peace.